Diamond stands one of the most beautiful and ornate buildings in Collinsville. Dedicated in 1918, the Miners Theater, originally called the Miners Institute, stands as a symbol of dedication and commitment of all the coal miners of Collinsville. Look up and you'll see how the exterior is flashed and faced with hydraulic brick, terracotta trim at the corners, and frescoed with stucco. The windows have stone ledges of Indiana limestone, and the theater marquee was a marvelous work of iron with glass panels. These statues of miners adorn the entrance that leads to the second and third floors of the Miners Institute. Matt Pigford and Alfred Bailey posed for the statues. Miners gave a portion of their wages to pay for the structure. This is the Miners Theater as it appears today. The lower front facing has been restored, and restoration work is being done on the interior. A Miners' Wall of Honor is in the lobby. Next to the Miners Theater is a parking lot. From it, if you look up, you can see the side wall of the building that houses Dean's Tobacco and Liquor Store. You can see the faint outline of a huge advertisement painted on the wall. Dimmed by the passing years, it advertises a tobacco of the time. Several windows are bricked shut. Double chimneys top the corner of the steep, slanted roof. This building style leans to the German influence of earlier days. Moving across Main Street, just one door down, stands the Oddfellows building. Like the Miners Institute, it's crowned with an elaborate cornice of terracotta with trim at the corners. The lettering proclaims that the local Oddfellows Lodge was instituted on August 2nd, 1848. A cornerstone in the section of the lighter brick reads the same. It's interesting to note that the original building was added onto about 40 years later with a darker brick. The window treatment on the left side is more elaborate. If we hadn't taken the time to look up, we would have missed all of this. Walking down to the corner of Main at Seminary, this is what we see today. A parking lot now replaces the former Western Auto building, which had previously been the home of Norwine Chevrolet. This view of the same streets was taken on Saturday, October 25th, 1913. It was Potato Day, and farmers and citizens gathered here to sell and buy potatoes. Quite a difference from the previous picture. If we but turn and gaze down Main Street from west to east, looking from Seminary Street, this is the scene we would have seen in 1918. The buildings still retain the architectural flavor of the turn of the century. There's still wrought iron balconies and heavy cornice capping on some of the buildings. The building with the iron balcony on your right is a pharmacy, operated by R.J. Eckert at the time. The building was erected in 1870 and at one time was Gross's Pharmacy. It's the oldest commercial building on Main Street and now houses Hostile Drugs. The same scene as it is today with Hostile Drug on the right. The shutters on the second floor are similar to the originals. Other buildings show significant changes. This very old door on the Seminary Street side of Hostiles is no longer used. It gives an insight to the heritage of Main Street's oldest building. People walk by it every day. How many even know it's there? Let us move on down Main Street to the public library. This house you see was the Look Renfro property at 408 West Main. It's the same site where the handsome brick library now stands. In 1927, the library purchased the house for a cost of $11,300. A decade later, erection of the center unit of the present library was begun. The central unit was dedicated August 15, 1937. This is the colonial-style Collinsville Memorial Public Library as it stands today. Over the years, the central unit was extended with the East Wing in 1963 and the West Wing in 1967. Most recently, a 4-floor addition was added behind the center unit. On the lower library level, under the east wing, you will find the Collinsville Historical Museum. It was founded in 1976 and presents a fine collection of Collinsville historical memorabilia. Displays are changed periodically. Do come and visit the museum. Directly across Main Street from the library are these buildings. They've stood still with time and remain almost as they were in days gone by. They truly show their age, but remind us of the past. The red and white checkered structure is a feed store, and has been a feed store and even a stable in bygone years. The Willoughby family owned and operated a feed store on this site for many years. If we stay on the same side of the street as the feed store, only a block and a half away, we come to this building at 323 West Main, the Main Square Apartments. The building has endured extensive remodeling. Notice the brickwork on the right, where the original doors and steps had been. In 1912, this original building was constructed by the Chester Knitting Mills. After a strike in 1923, the mill was closed. Crown Millinery Company was the next occupant of the building. In November of 1926, Forest City Manufacturing Company took it over to manufacture dresses. For years, the building was referred to as the dress factory. Many women worked here. Men were employed in the cutting room. The factory later took the name of Martha Manning. We have completed our tour of some of the primary streets of downtown Collinsville with many thoughts of history and preservation. But the most significant landmark in Collinsville is the Ketchup Bottle water tower built by the G.S. Suppiger Company in October of 1947. It's been beautifully repainted and restored to its original glory and stands as a symbol of diligence and perseverance for all to see. The next time you're walking in downtown Collinsville, be sure to look up. Glimpses of your heritage are just waiting to be discovered again. May we always remember Collinsville's heritage of yesterday. It is truly the foundation of the future of Collinsville's tomorrow.